There is a morning when the measure of success changes from speed to fit. You ask a different question. Where does all this work finally belong, and where will it hold steady for the next decades of life? For many Manila and Southern executives, the honest answer is land with order and room. Not a rush purchase, not a quick move, but an estate decision that lets growth stand on the ground. Here in Trava, inside Greenfield City, Santa Rosa, Laguna, that kind of decision is available by design. The plan is disciplined, roads are wide, trees are aligned, and the neighborhood breathes at a calm and reliable pace. Each lot is titled and generous from 550 square meter to 750 square meters. That range is not a boast. Underground utilities keep the sky clear, flood-free elevation, it protects season and investments. Landscape guidelines protect views and proportion so beauty is not left to trend. You feel the difference the moment you step out of the car. The air is quieter and your head becomes clearer. Instead of a rush and noise, you notice lines, distance, and light. Order is doing work for you. It is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of the structure that holds value when markets move and the calendars fill. For leaders who carry teams and target, this is the reward that still makes sense. You are not stepping away from ambition, you are bringing ambition home so morning can start with sunlight on glass and evening can end with an easy walk under even a rows of trees. Time spent here is not idle. Stand on the main boulevard and look toward to the open green. You can see how the estate was drawn. Distance are deliberate. The rhythm of the lamps and curves keeps movement safe and steady. It is confidence built into pavement, soil, and sky. Progress does not stop when you slow the pace. It matures, roots, and becomes durable. Growth finds ground and starts to serve the life that earned it. That is why this place exists for builders who are ready for continuity and clarity. If you are asking where your next decade should take root, start here at sunrise. Breathe, listen, and walk the length of the boulevard. Decision feels simpler when the setting already carries its shares of the work. Here, success does not need to chase you across the city. Here, success waits at home and welcomes you back with light, space, and order. There comes a time when progress stops feeling like acceleration and start feeling like alignment. When the goal is not to add more, but to move with intention. That shift is what separates managers from builders, executives from visionaries. For years, success meant late nights and full calendars. Now, it begins to mean space, space to decide, space to breathe, space to design the next decade of your life on your own terms. That is why Trava exists. Here in Greenfield City, the rhythm changes. Instead of noise, you hear air and distance. Instead of deadlines, you see long sight lines that reminds you to slow down without losing a drive. It is not retirement, it is refinement. The stage where efficiency turns into clarity. Inside the clubhouse, sunlight travels across the glass and wood. The temperature stays calm because the materials think ahead. Low E-glass, solar-ready roofing, underground power lines. Every feature has a purpose. Nothing performs. Executives understand this better than most. You know how much time is wasted on things that move but do not have a progress. You also know that control is freedom, not micromanagement, but design that eliminates friction. That is what Trava gives you, an environment engineered for decision makers who value silence as much as action. Walk from the glass lobby to green corridor that leads towards the pool, you will see proportion everywhere, no corner exaggerated, no curve unnecessary, even the air feels measured. That is discipline expressed as comfort. The longer you stay, the more you realize this is not about luxury. It's about calibration, your home, your work, your rest, all tuned to your pace, yours. Here's presence becomes productivity. You work better when your mind is rested and your setting is stable. You think farther when your surroundings are deliberate. This is where purpose regains its edge. Every decade demands a different kind of performance. For you, the next performance is measured not frantic, it is the art of sustaining success instead of chasing it. Trava is that balance proof that movement and stillness can coexist when you have designed them that way. And when you stand by the glass railing and see the boulevard framed in morning light, you realize that progress was never about speed. It is about structure. Every estate speaks a language even before a single house is built. It's the quiet grammar of proportion, rhythm, and restraint. In Trava, that language begins at the gate and continues through every line of the road and landscape. The entrance isn't oversized. It's deliberate, scaled for dignity, not display. Pillars from a view that leads the eye toward distance, not distraction. That first impression defines everything that follows. Step inside and notice the order of trees. Each row carries the same spacing, the same measured height. The discipline is what gives the air a feeling of a calm. Design here isn't decoration, it's coordination. Estate design is about setting rules that future homes will respect. Lot sizes from 550 to 750 square meters create room for architecture to breathe. Setbacks protects light and privacy. Utility corridors stay hidden underground so the horizon stays clean. Even the drainage grid was drawn first before the landscape to make a beautiful functional. That is how real master planning works. Structure first, expression second. When design is honest, it outlives the taste. And that's what families Trava are buying. Clarity doesn't age. Walk along the boulevard and you'll see why proportion matters. Scarcity is not an accident. It is discipline expressed through limitation. Every enduring brand, every strong company, every legacy estate understands the control creates value. And Trava's scarcity was not created by marketing. It was built by mathematics. Only a few hundred titled estate lots drown. That decision defines the estate's power. Abundance is easy to sell but difficult to sustain. Scarcity requires foresight, the restraint to stop while the formula is still perfect. Greenfield's planners understood this. They designed Trava not for volume but for proportion. Each lot, 557 to 570 square meters, is large enough to express individuality but not so wide that the rhythm of the community breaks. When you leave the gate and look back at the boulevard, you realize what makes Trava rare is not what it adds, but what it refuses to become. Because in a world that multiplies endlessly, true value, what stays measured, complete, and rare. True luxury is never about size. It's about scale, the relationship between space and human comfort. You can feel it the moment you walk through Trava. Nothing overwhelms, nothing competes for attention. Every simply fits. Inside the clubhouse, the ceiling rise is just high enough to fit light without losing warmth. Furniture follows proportion, not trend. Materials are honest, wood, glass, stone, textures that age with grace and tell stories instead of showing off. The balance of measure is what makes luxury livable. When everything is scaled to people instead of ego, you feel welcome instead of impressed. That is difference between grand and good. In Trava, light is design materials. Morning enters gently through wide windows. Afternoon travels across neutral walls and settles on cool floors. The architecture lets you follow time without chasing it. Walk through the garden corridor. The distance between columns is measured to match a human stride. The trees outside stand in intervals that echo the rhythm of breathing. That is how luxury becomes well-being through geometry that respects the body. Even the sound design follows this scale. Noise is absorbed, the green walls and quiet framing. You hear footsteps, wind, and birds before cars. Peace is not silence, it's a curation. Executives and families who built their lives on movement find rest here without feeling idle. The environment gives permission to slow down while still feeling accomplished. A meeting can happen at the clubhouse veranda, a decision can form over a coffee and trees. Every corner supports clarity. Lot sizes from 550 to 750 square meters extend that comfort outside. Gardens are large enough for gatherings but never so big that they demand constant attention. As the sun drops, behind the trees and lights slides across the pavement, you understand why Trava feels different. It was not designed to impress a moment, it was designed to outlast them. And what the evening wind passes through the boulevard, you sense the truth behind in silence luxury is only meaningful when it fits the scale of those who lives inside. Every great view carries value, but not every value can hold its view. That is what separates scenery from investments. When you stand out at the balcony of Trava, the horizon tells two stories at once. The first is beauty, sunlight across aligned trees, the quiet geometry of roads and roofs. The second is structure, the invisible framework that protects that view for decades. Here, appreciation is engineered, not guessed. Every elevation, every drainage line, every zoning rule exists to make the view permanent. That is what investors call security with serenity. In most cities, views are borrowed. Buildings rise, skylines shift, and sightlines vanish with the next permit. But in Trava, what you see today is what your family will see tomorrow. That is the financial definition of peace of mind. Lot sizes remain fixed at 550 to 750 square meters, guidelines preserve proportion, underground utilities remove visual clutter. Even the greens are regulated for growth rate and height, so nothing intrudes on the skyline. This is how design protects value, by turning maintenance into policy. You don't rely on promises, you rely on planning. Executives and families who built their success on predictability understand this logic immediately. They know that the best return is consistency. That is why Trava's value story reads like a balance sheet built in sunlight. Stable assets, clear margins, long horizon. But behind those numbers is something rarer. Emotion that appreciates. The moment you breathe this air, you realize you are investing in calm, not just land. You are buying the time that performs, a neighborhood that keeps its rhythm while the market changes tempo outside. Timing decides the story of every investment. You can have the right product, the right location, even the right intention. But when the timing is wrong, everything waits. The market rewards foresight, not reaction. That's why Trava's window is not open forever. It exists in a rare balance between maturity and momentum. Santa Rosa, Laguna